products that I want to try, and I want to do a side-by-side foundation wear test. I am aware that my hairpiece does not match my shirt. It's okay. We're just going to pretend and go with it. It'll be fine, right? So I have already applied my It Cosmetics Confidence in a Cream. I've been applying this twice a day to like my T-zone. And then I did already also put on my Wet n Wild Retractable Brow Pencil in Ash Brown. So the first thing we're going to test out is the Profusion Cosmetics No Budge Eyeshadow Primer. Now, I did not know they have an eyeshadow primer, and this, I believe, was under $5, maybe $3 or $4. So we are going to be trying this today, and I did already apply it. My brain just wasn't even thinking. What I can tell you is that it is very creamy, and this is in the shade Nude. It does feel kind of powdery as it starts to dry down, and it dries down quickly. So if you do try this product, just be aware that you want to blend it out rather quickly, get it where you want it to be, because it will dry down. So we're going to be trying that out with a new eyeshadow palette today. So the palette we're going to be trying out today is the Essence Coral Me Maybe eyeshadow palette. This is $3.99, maybe $2.99. Picked this up from Ulta the other day. I thought the shades were pretty. The palette does have 3 mattes and 3 shimmers. I have seen, was it Jessica Braun, talking about how this kind of resembles the palette from M Cosmetics, which is a really pretty palette. When I first seen it, I thought that that was something I would like to have, but I knew that I would never pay the price for it. It's just an expensive product. So when I heard that this was kind of a dupe, I thought, well, that's definitely more in my price range. So let's give it a try. So I'm going to show you swatches. These are just one swipe swatches. Why do I always do this so poorly? Okay, so here we have the 3 mattes and the 3 shimmers. It is a nice complete look. It gives you something to put in your crease, a little bit deeper, outer corner, and then you can choose from the shimmers to put on your lid. So let's go ahead and do that. Why do I always feel like I'm in the twilight zone? I always feel like somebody's watching me. Okay, so I am going to go ahead and start with this shade all over. And I do like that it comes with a mirror for such a small little palette. They have quite a few shade options. There's a green, a gray, I believe maybe a red or like a burnt orange. I'm not sure, but they had quite a few. But this was the one I was really interested in. Wow, that's pigmented. More pigmented probably than I was anticipating, actually. Okay, so to deepen the crease, I'm going to pop on some of this shade. That's like the true corally shade. It's definitely pigmented, but I wish that it was like a little bit more pigmented to stand out more so from the shade that I used above it. Like just a little bit. I feel like there's almost not enough difference for me. Maybe it's coming off different on camera. Okay, now let's see which. I think I want this one right here. So let's try it. I think going in with my finger is going to be the best bet. Okay, so there it is, kind of placed on dry. Not super, you know, not super pigmented. Let's try it on a brush and wet it a little bit. See if we can't get a little bit more payoff. This is just the Milani Make It Last. Oops. I just sprayed my mouth. Whoopsie. Sorry about that. Okay, let's try it this way. Definitely giving me more pigment this way. Not anything crazy, but more so what I would want from the application of this product. Okay, so you can get a light application, applying it with your finger dry, or a more pigmented application, applying it with a brush and wetting it with some setting spray. Okay, so there's that. Then let's deepen up that outer corner with a little bit of this brown, a matte brown. I'm just going to tap the brown where I want it to disperse the pigment, and then I'll go back in and lightly start to blend it. That's pigmented. That is a nice pigmented matte brown. Let's do this side again. I just kind of like tap it into the brown, and then I just place it where I want it before I go in and start to blend it so that it doesn't kind of fluff everywhere. There we go. That is not bad. I think what I'd like to do is take a little bit of this shade on my finger, and I'm just going to kind of apply it where the brown is meeting that coral to give it a little bit more dimension. It's not going to be anything crazy, but I think it'll give it just a little bit of a nice shift. And then in the inner corner, we will take this gold shade. All right, that is actually a really nice look with this little palette, rather quick and easy. I'm not usually a fan of these small palettes, and this color in particular I really like. I'm losing my voice. If you haven't seen this video, I did a full face of products that were on the chopping block, and one of the products that I used in that video was this little palette from Makeup Revolution, the X Exposed line, or the name of the palette, and it's this little quad, and it's kind of on the same color scheme as this, but something about the colors of this is more suited to my skin tone than this one. Like, this one was kind of bland and almost washed me out. You see what I mean? And then you look at this one, and it's just got like the right undertones, pigment. I don't know, but this corally one is working better for my skin than I felt this one did. So that does show you can get a nice quality look with a small palette. It just has to be the right color scheme for you. So, like I said, this scheme was just too washed out for me, but this more pinky corally is working well. Because as you can see, I mean, you have a brown, but this is a much richer, deeper brown, kind of a pinky color. This gold shimmer, but this is much more yellow gold. Like, it just works better. So I actually really like that, and if you're looking for small palettes but you want to play with color, the other ones in this line might be something that you would want to check out. Alright, so next we're going to try out this mascara. I've talked about it before. This is the Essence Lash Princess Volume Mascara. Now if you're wondering, like, haven't you already tried that one? I have all of them in the Lash Princess line except the waterproof one. I had this one, but I gave it to my sister a long time ago. So when I was at Ulta, I thought I'm going to pick that up. And actually, another video I'm going to do is like a full wear test, testing out all of the Lash Princess line. So again, except for the waterproof, because it gives me a headache. I do tend to have issues with waterproof mascaras giving me headaches. So if you're interested in that, and I have 2 other mascaras from Essence that I'll probably include in that video. So I am going to go ahead and curl my lashes. I feel like that's the fairest way to do it. I almost think this look would benefit from me taking some of that brown and putting it on the lash line, like as a liner. We might just do that real quick. Alright, so I'm going to take this eyeliner brush from e.l.f. I'm going to take some of that brown and put it right on my lash line as a very soft eyeliner. See what I mean? It just makes my lash, like, look. It just makes my lash line look fuller. This is a really nice way to get a fuller lash line look without actually using eyeliner. It's very soft. I used to do this a lot in high school. A lot. Actually, I did a video where I replicated, like, my makeup from high school to now. So be sure and go check that out. This was one of the techniques that I always used. I still use it now, but I used it a lot. Alright, very subtle, nothing crazy, but again, you can see that it just gives my lash line a little bit more fullness. So now let's go ahead and go in. Again, this is the red one. This is the Volume Mascara. I have been using the Curl and Volume, which is like a hot pink. This is what I have been using. This is the Curl and Volume, and today we're just using the Volume, which is red. So let me show you the difference in the wands. So this one, for the Curl and Volume, the pink is Hourglass, whereas this one for the Volume, which is red, is thin and kind of almost S-shaped, very slightly. So again, that's what we're going to use today. It's actually giving me length too, which is nice. Yeah, definitely giving me volume, not giving me curl. So I mean, it's living up to its name, the Volume Effect Mascara. Even with having curled my lashes, it's not really doing much. For curl, definitely giving me volume though. It's good. Honestly, you can't go wrong with the Lash Princess line. Like their panda eyes and some of those extreme ones I'm not a super fan of, but the Lash Princess ones, you just kind of gotta figure out what kind of wand you want, and that will lead you to kind of which one you should get and what effect you're looking for. But yeah, not a bad mascara at all. They're really great. Okay, so now we're going to jump into the face portion of this. Let's see, I put on lotion. Do I want to do any other primer? For primer, I'm going to go in with the e.l.f. Plus Glow Radiant Moisturizer. This has coconut and hyaluronic acid SPF 15. That's about 3 pumps. I love this stuff. It smells like summer. Although I am enjoying fall. Don't get me wrong. I am very much enjoying fall. In fact, I have sitting here beside me. This is giving me so much life. I love this. I got this little cute Squad Goals cup from TJ Maxx. And I've got coffee. I've got pumpkin spice creamer, cold foam, a little bit of caramel drizzle. It's definitely fall vibes. Like, oh, I love it. Okay. Back on track. So for the foundations, what we're going to do is we are these don't even match in color at all. Oops. I do actually have to leave the house later, so we'll see how that goes. I'm going to apply concealer first. Like I said, I think I've said this a couple videos now. I've really been enjoying doing that. I'm going to go in with just a touch of the CoverGirl True Blend Undercover Concealer. This is an L01 Fair. And this stuff does not take a lot. Like, let me tell you. Like, once it pops out on this gigantic doe foot, you just need a dot, a dot, a dot, a dot. And even that may be too much. So I'm going to go ahead and blend that out with my flat eyeshadow brush from Wet n Wild, super old. The reason I like using this is because I can kind of get it into that corner where I tend to have like a purple shadow, and then it just brightens everything up. So now I'm going to take my sponge. I'm going to spray the tip with a little bit of spray just to add some moisture, and go ahead and finish blending this out. Still a little dry, but it'll be okay. Alright, so on one side, we are going to go in with the CoverGirl True Blend Matte Made Foundation. Mine is in the shade L15. And on the other side, way lighter, is the CoverGirl Outlast Extreme Wear 3-in-1 Foundation Full Coverage Foundation. And this is in 800 Fair Ivory. So I actually did a wear test on this when it originally came out. I'll link that video for you. But a lot of people were like, okay, is this just a True Blend, like repackaged? So we're going to put it to the test today and see, are these in fact two different foundations? Or is CoverGirl just like pulling one over on us and repackaging stuff? Starting on this side, and this is a new one, so let's go in with one pump. I am going to warm this up on the back of my hand because it is kind of a thick consistency. And this shade is a little bit peachy, but I don't really mind it. And take a little tap on the back of my sponge and start blending it in. One of my favorite matte foundations. No joke. Like, look at that. Smooth and flawless. Okay, I will tell you, it is not looking good where it is meeting that concealer. I am going to take just a pinch more and build up right here on my cheek, which that really is a good rule of thumb with this, is to go in light layers and build where you need. If you go in off the bat with too much, it is going to look cakey. I mean, it just is. With a matte foundation like this, I really don't want to go more than that because I feel like it will start to look kind of cakey. I'm going to take just a pinch more and do it again on my forehead and build this up just a little bit. So again, here we have the True Blend Matte Made from CoverGirl. So now let's go into the other side with the CoverGirl Outlast. Going in with one pump. So this is definitely a much liquidy, more liquid, liquidier product. Like, it doesn't need as warmed up, and the color is way off. So there we go with one pump. I'm going to go in with a different sponge so that they are not being crossed. And let's blend this side in. I'm already not liking how this side looks. Alright, let me bring you in closer. Like, this side is just matte. And ignore the color difference, but like, this side is much dewier looking. Much dewier looking. Again, you gotta ignore the color difference. That's my fault. So I'm gonna take just a touch more. I'm gonna build up on my forehead and on my cheek. Oh, this side does not look good. I don't know if you're able to see it like I can. Do you see that? Ew, I don't like it. Okay, so again, testing the True Matte versus the Outlast. Yes, the colors are different, but even the formulas are different. The Matte Made is definitely much thicker, whereas the Outlast is more liquidy, for sure. And the finish on them is different. So just from all of that knowledge, I mean, I would definitely say they are two different products. And at the moment, and still, the reigning champ would have to be the True Blend Matte Made. I'm not liking how the Outlast is looking at all, regardless of the color offset. So before we go in with powder, the last product that I want to test is the new e.l.f. Putty Bronzer. Say hello to sun-kissed skin. This putty to powder bronzer blends seamlessly into the skin and leaves the complexion looking bronzed and beautiful. Infused with argan oil and vitamin E, this non-greasy buildable formula transforms from a cream to a semi-matte powder to give you a natural bronze or soft contour for the perfect sun-kissed glow. Now, the only problem is this isn't the actual shade I wanted. I wanted the one light, like the one shade lighter, but they didn't have it. So I do have the shade Honey Glazed, Honey Drip, which is probably a tinge too warm for me, but that'll be okay. Use a brush or clean fingers, gently pat onto the cheeks, forehead, and anywhere else you want with a kiss of bronze. Blend out using wide circular motions. So I actually have this little brush. This is the Jelly Pop brush. I don't remember what it actually was called because the name is peeled off. But if you can see the bristle, I use it for putty blushes. But if you can see, I don't know if you can tell, like how some of these bristles are just a little bit taller than the rest. Something about that works magic. Man, I look pale. So let's go ahead and go in. I'm going to tap this in here and swirl. Is anything happening? Yeah, I'm getting a little bit of bronze. You know, that color is not looking too bad, honestly. I think I'm getting a little bit of the blush coming behind the bronzer that was already on the brush. Okay, I'm going to go over it with the sponge we use for the True Matte. Just tap over a little bit, really making sure that we've got everything blended. I think this side is just so white, it's like throwing me off, but I really do like that. I'm going to take a little bit on, where is that brush? This is a shadow brush, but I like it for nose contour. It is an angled shader. So I'm going to take a little bit of that. I'm going to pop some under my lower lip. I about called it my under lip. That's not what I'm trying to say. And it gives you just a little bit of shadow, and it makes your lip look fuller. Also, this pimple is like, you're not covering me up, girlfriend. Alright, let's do a little bit of nose contour. And take our sponge. Nice. I like this. This is good. While we're doing that, let's do some putty blush. From e.l.f., I do have two of their putty blushes. I have Bora Bora, which is this really true pink. And I have Caribbean, which is more of this red berry color. So I'm going to go in with a little bit of this. I am going to take that brush again. What I really like about the putty blush, and I'm going to assume is the same for the bronzer, is that these can go over powder. Like sometimes I'll forget and I'll go ahead and powder my face, and then I'm like, oh man, I want to use that putty product. And these blushes go over powder like a dream, to be honest. So I'm wondering if the bronzer does the same. I don't know what to do about this side. She looks rough. She looks rough on this side. So, putty blush, putty bronzer. What else do we need? We need highlight. I am going to go in with... Oh, before I do that, let me set my under eyes with some powder. I'm going to take a little bit of the Fenty Beauty Pro Filter powder in butter. I'm also going to take a little bit over my nose, because where I wear my glasses, it'll come off. I don't really feel the need to powder this side as much as this side. Like even a little bit down here. Take a little bit right here in this area of my nose. So now let's jump back into highlighter. I'm going to take a little bit of my Flower Day Glow Highlighting Glaze. Just get a little bit. And tap it on. I am going to add a little bit of this to my nose. So there we have it, just a little bit of highlighter. Before I go in and finish my lower lashes and my lips, I'm going to take a little bit of my Milani Make It Last. Oh my gosh, the spritzer. I think I'm going to go in with just a little bit of this. No, I don't want that either. Alright, for lip, I'm going to go in with some of the Maybelline Ultimate Matte Color Sensational Lipstick. And this is in the shade More Buff. Just give me a little wash of color here. Matches the color of my sleeves of my shirt. And then on top of that, I want a little bit of sparkle, so I'm going to take the Raw Beauty Kristi and ColourPop Luxe Gloss in Glacier and pop that on top. I love how every time I'm filming lately, my dog starts going nuts. Alright, lower lash line. Let's get this done. I'm just going to take a little bit of this coral shade and run that along the lower lash line. And for mascara, we will pop on some of the volume mascara from Essence. I don't think I like that for the lower lashes. It's a little too clumpy for me. But anyways, here is the finished look. So, as far as the products, I like the mascara. Definitely does give you volume. The putty bronzer, I actually really like this. This is really good. And what was the other thing we tried? Oh, the eyeshadow primer. Yeah, it's working great. This is actually like the third time I've used it, but I wanted to use it like in a trial on camera. And honestly, it does work really well. The only issue I have with it is it's not as accessible as the Milani that I normally use, even though it's cheaper. Like, I had to order this online because I've never seen the Profusion one in store. So if you see it in store, it's really cheap, really good product. As far as the foundations, let's take one more look. Yeah, they are different. I do not like this one. This side, my bronzer and my blush and just everything looks like it's sitting on my skin, whereas on the True Matte side, it looks like everything has sunken in, like melted together. It just looks so much better on this side than this side. I don't like how this side of my face looks at all, and I'm itching everywhere. Alright, so thank you for watching this video. Let me know down below, have you tried out the putty bronzer or anything from the putty line? What have I tried? I don't think I've tried anything else from their putty line that I can think of at the moment. I'm really liking this gloss. I haven't used this gloss in a while. A little sticky, but love the effect. So, again, thank you for watching this video. I hope you will like and subscribe, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.